Yo, episode 14 coming right at you. I don't know why it feels like it's been a long time, but I mean, it really only has been a week. I don't know what that means. What is the meaning?
Time flies.
Why is that? I feel like the news is just been equally chaotic as it's been, all throughout the year thus far. So, I don't know, something about it's hitting different. There's some really big things happening.
Oh yeah.
I know, Joaquin, you've been watching Raising Dion, right?
Yeah.
How's that been coming along? I know that you were talking about it to us before, right?
It's a pretty fun show on Netflix. Follows like the whole superhero paradigm. And yeah, it's pretty unique in some regards. So check it out.
Yeah. What do you like about it most? I'm curious.
It kind of has like a more realistic aspect to it of like how it would actually be like to be a superhero or have a child that's a superhero and raise them. Mm-hmm. And it's like a lot of issues that you wouldn't think of or that you don't see in other shows.
Kind of like some of the storyline that they bring up in X-Men, perhaps?
A little bit. Yeah, it's actually a good parallel.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like,
you don't know about X-Men.
We talked about the parallel with The Boys too a little bit.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Another gritty representation of it. It's fun. I don't know, something about a modern film aesthetic. I mean, not all of it, but I do notice that like towards like the gritty, showing it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ugly truth and stuff. Yeah. What else has been out in the regard of Peacemaker? I don't know anything about this, but I know that you boys were talking about it.
It's a DC show.
With John Cena?
Yeah, with John Cena. James Gunn directed it. It's
nice.
Getting freaking rave reviews, so I haven't seen it yet,
hilarious.
But worth bringing up. I'm definitely going to start watching that now that I've got a little break in what I've been watching.
Yeah. It sounds like a solid like cast of people spearheading it. I mean, not just on screen, but like you said, even James Gunn and stuff. He definitely has experience in the realm. So, yeah. And talking about still with the superhero stuff, right? The Batman, the new Batman stuff's looking really good. I have definitely changed the tune that I was singing regarding Rob Patterson. Pattinson. Yeah. Well,
Patterson.
Yeah, at least I was not too far off that time.
I still don't like him. I don't care.
You still don't like him? Yeah. But I mean, I could see it looking.
He's a great actor.
I think it's promising.
Well, when in The Devil All the Time, when he gets fucking shit, then I fucking love that part. But that's like the only part that I like.
Yeah, but
he deserved it.
Good performance, though. I mean, I can't.
Well, I didn't say he's not a good actor. That doesn't mean I don't have to like him.
Right. Well, that's true. Ooh. Well, I mean, it depends if you're talking about like the character that they're playing too, because a lot of people go, "I mean, I hate that actor," but like usually it's because of the character they're playing really well.
I mean, it's hard to separate those two like identities, right?
Right.
Yeah. But I guess that means they're doing a damn good job.
Yeah. So what's cool is the director kind of came out and was adamant that he didn't want to make another Batman origin story, which has just been done every time they do a Batman movie. Yep. So he said that it's actually a villain origin story. And so he's telling the origins of all the different villains.
Cool.
So like the Riddler's in it and the Penguin.
Yep. And Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
Dope. I'm excited for that. Batman has some of the most memorable villains. I mean, other.
I think he has the best rogues gallery.
Yeah,
rogues gallery.
That means his cast of villains.
Oh, never heard that term before. The best rogues gallery. Cool. Yeah. For me, Batman and Spider-Man are always favorites for
Spider-Man's
me.
number two.
Spider-Man's got
two rogues
followed for me.
Close second.
Followed for me then by X-Men.
X-Men has a good rogues gallery.
Yeah. Those are big ones for me.
Big one.
Yeah.
Star Wars, dude.
Star Wars. Yeah.
All the good stuff.
All good stuff, and now we're learning about how John Williams is going to be spearheading the score for it, right? So
for Obi-Wan, he's coming back. So he had retired. After the sequels, he said he was done doing music like that,
making great music and great money. Dang.
Right. Well, that's good because he's in it for the art.
Exactly.
He's always
something we've talked about before. It shows a lot of maturity and maybe ownership of whatever is happening in their life, right? To just say, look, I'm parting ways from this period of my life. So
right.
Nice. But I guess he ain't done.
No, he's not. So he's going to come back and he's going to do Obi's theme and a bunch of other stuff. I think some incidental music, but just had me thinking of all the different music that we grew up with. I mean, that is such a varied catalog that he has, like a back catalog that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Starting with like the familiar stuff like Jaws and Close Encounters, all that stuff is good.
Yeah, he has a wide like
Superman, the non-Star Wars stuff like Superman.
His discography is a great one, and beyond film scores, right? There's other things too, and just
yeah, he did the theme for the Olympics.
Yeah, great. And,
Nice.
and I know that he's like a big fan of like Holst's planets, and you hear that a lot all throughout Star Wars, right? And
You hear little nods to that.
yeah, but he's also done like I guess his own orchestrations of it, and he's recorded whatever symphony he has working from probably his own right under his own name. Yeah, so but yeah, so that's great.
Favorite ones, go.
That's hard. I don't know.
It's so hard to pick one.
My favorite is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah,
It's a good one.
For me, Jurassic
Wearing
Park
it
and
too.
Star Wars, probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wore it?
Yeah,
There is so much great music in the Star Wars catalog. I mean, it's kind of hard. You kind of gotta go like, okay, well, besides because
Besides
there's, like,
Star Wars, yeah.
in the
Exactly.
prequels, you had the the Duel of the Fates.
Duel of the
and-
Fates. It's so good because he named it after like the fate of Anakin, and like
Right.
whoever won the duel that was what his fate was gonna be, and he fucking got murked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have the
Is Duel of the Fates? Is that?
It's very climactic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah. So I feel like those two would be top for me as well.
They're good.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy to even think about. I mean, the prequels themselves were great. I think that was probably my favorite part of the prequels
Was the
John
music?
Williams' score.
Yeah, it's like the music
Yeah.
is the best part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to picture Anakin and Padme kissing each other for like Across the Stars. Their love theme that's in
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones is really awesome. The music that plays while Obi-Wan and Anakin are kicking each other's asses in Revenge of the Sith is really tight. Going back to the originals, of course, you have the Imperial March and the throne room at the end of the original first movie, A New
Yeah.
Hope. And then he brought it back for the sequels. His Kylo's theme is great. Rey's theme is classic. It's beautiful.
Well, I'm glad he's coming back.
Right.
and yeah, excited to see what he does with it. Yeah.
What scores do you guys like outside of that though?
Besides Jurassic Park,
Yeah, besides
Indiana
those.
Jones.
Yeah.
Indy, that's right. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Close Encounters is a interesting one.
And then
Mhm.
I really like Harry Potter because it's like one that you could be like, oh, you don't know if it's John Williams, but then when you're like, oh, it is.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's also one of those things where I definitely am not aware of all of it, and I was just even, looking it up prior to us, getting on the mic, and like, man, wow, all these things, and of course some that I'd already
Hook.
forgot.
Hook, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And well, but I mean, we could talk about this dude all day.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I did want to say, kind of speaking of people returning, right? That we see Sam Raimi, getting his an old directorial position back, spearheading the upcoming Doctor Strange. Which
I love that Doctor Strange movie. It's like top 3 of my Marvel movies.
It's
liked
a
it, yeah.
great Marvel
Entertaining,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a nice heady, but also engaging storyline, and the action's cool. So yeah, those are two big, markers to check off, right?
Right. Have you seen the trailer for the new one?
Nope. No.
Oh, because he hasn't seen the new Spider-Man. That's why.
Mhm.
Yeah. Been wanting to, but I'm always
It's all
late.
right.
Always late.
I haven't seen it either, but do you know it has good actors like Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he also is in a Western on Netflix called The Power of the Dog.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really good. It's kind of out there,
Yeah, it is.
but I like that kind of thing.
What about it's out there?
It's kind of like, what do you mean?
Well, what about it? What about the story or
It's out there.
the
versus in
universe
here.
is out there? Yeah.
Oh, it's not like, it's more like just strange. Like he's a strange character.
Yeah.
Oh, the lead is a strange
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's pretty like mysterious.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, a good mysterious character leaves a lot of room to unfold stuff and have twists. Oh, another
Yep,
twist.
Lots of twists.
Yeah, there are twists in it,
Yeah.
and it's like open ended.
So what about the halftime show? Was there any twists in that, or did it seem par for the course of what you expect of all those artists?
Well, we didn't get the Tupac Shakur hologram.
Yeah. I saw a meme where it was like, can you do a Tupac hologram? It's like, the best I can do is an upside down 50 Cent.
That was funny.
You know, hey, 50 Cent, he had his time, and you know, he knows.
Shut up.
He knows what he does well, and the
You don't
tunes
know.
the tunes that were the most successful. So
Yeah, some good bangers.
You know, it was cool. It's cool that he got to do that again, and
Bringing it all the way back to junior high.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, well, supposedly he wasn't a part of the original plan, and then Eminem just like reached out and was like, "Hey, because they're cool with each other, I guess."
That's what I was gonna say.
It's like Dr. Dre like discovered Eminem, and Eminem pretty much discovered.
That's
50 Cent.
I didn't know that 50 Cent was perhaps someone that like Dr. Dre brought under his wing. But okay, so now you're telling me. And then also the other ones I didn't know is that he and Mary J. Blige were involved, and she had a great performance too. And I love that scene at the end when she fell back, and there's been a lot of memes on it, but it's cool. I mean, and hey, if people are remembering it and talking about it, I think that's
Dr. Dre also produced that song that 50 Cent played.
Oh, okay, cool. And then also I didn't know that Kendrick was someone that Dr. Dre had.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that, but I love Kendrick, man. So
He's great.
You don't know.
yeah,
Popo.
always trying to learn way more with that guy because
Which way did he go?
he writes. I love that he's an album guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoy
appreciate
that.
that.
Yeah. And but anyway, everyone was great. Snoop was good doing his thing. I know that it's been a big meme. Oh, look at who was caught smoking a J prior to getting
Snoop
up there.
Dogg. It's like,
And everyone
what
was
do you
like, I was
expect?
like, "Oh,
Wow.
What do you expect?
how dare he? Think of the children."
What do they expect?
Yeah, I
Has to
mean,
get ready for
Dogg.
the show.
It was L.A., man. That was the whole
And LA
point.
as well, yeah.
It was a celebration of that whole thing. It was a huge thing in the early '90s.
yeah.
And what's cool is all the music from that time, like The Chronic, which I think was like '92, and Doggy Style, which was '93, I think.
Yeah.
Are
Early
all
90s for
topping the
sure.
digital charts again. Now.
That's
so they're
cool.
in
You don't know
Eminem's.
about Doggy Style.
You don't know.
I remember seeing that album cover at my cousin's, and
Yeah.
it's a cartoon, but like it's like
What is this?
Yeah, I was like, what's happening here? All these things, just I don't know. I was drawn to it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, my folks had it on cassette.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so it's nice to have the music getting put in the spotlight again. I mean, I'm sure they were fine without this additional plug, but it's
Right.
good music, so that's cool. That you get to enjoy that.
And a side note, Iron Maiden is re-releasing Number of the Beast on cassette.
Wow, made you think of it when you brought up cassettes.
Yeah, and,
that's
and
really
I
cool.
didn't even
Wow.
think to bring it up before, but yeah, it was kind of cool. They put out an Instagram post and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not seeing things like this is a cassette, and we're going to be
Wow.
re-releasing it."
What album, or is it albums?
I said Number of the Beast.
Oh, see, I'm off it, but now I'm back on it. Number of the
you're
Beast.
on it.
Yeah,
You're good.
And
And you know who else is on it? Is Paul McCartney, baby.
Yeah,
He's back.
going on tour.
Yeah.
Gonna be a road hog once again.
Yeah, first time since 2019. I mean, he kept busy during the pandemic with, I think McCartney 3 he put out, and then McCartney 321, which was the documentary on Hulu, and then he also functioned as a producer for Get Back. So he was busy before, but yeah, he's going to be coming out for a U.S. tour, playing
cool.
SoFi in May.
Nice.
I'm gonna see if I could get a vet tick.
Ooh.
It'd be dope. I mean, I wonder what he would do. Maybe that the most recent album and some old bangers.
Supposedly, well, in the list, it's of course, his classics, Beatles songs, and then Wings solo stuff.
Nice, cool. Like to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've never seen Paul. We got to see Ringo
Ringo.
play
Yeah.
with Joe Walsh at the
Mhm.
Forum a couple years back.
Yeah.
Sick.
I think a few years back, my folks saw him maybe at the Greek, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the All Star Band. They play the Greek
All-Star, yeah, yeah.
regularly.
When I
100%.
saw the Stones at SoFi, like Mick Jagger was like, Paul McCartney's backstage. I was like, oh my god, please come on stage, like do something, like that would be
Listen,
so
just
crazy.
doing it
Surprised he
early
didn't.
and
He was just-
Why would they go out of the way
alluding.
just to go? Oh, by the way, he's back there eating the charcuterie.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
what
come out and sing a song.
the- yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, if anything, you like tease that and then you don't deliver. It's like
Right.
you're getting people angry for no reason.
Who gives a shit then? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Paul's just legendary. I mean, just think about all the classic songs and all the classic bass lines.
Yeah, he has some bangers. I mean, that Rickenbacker sound with the pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pick,
So-
bro.
Yeah.
All about
Huge.
the pick.
All about
And the
pick.
Hofner.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did the Hofner a lot too.
Yeah, him and Chris Squire, great,
Oh
great,
yeah,
great
dude,
pick.
he knows all about the
Picking
Hoffman.
bassists,
Yeah.
the bassists. Yeah, so good. Very nice sound, especially for rock, and I can imagine other things. But I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
it lends
pop
very
music.
nicely to the punctual sort of timbre that it adds. Punctual, like a bit more bright sort of approach that it brings.
Totally.
And yeah, that's why he had such big bangers. I was thinking of which one were you talking about? Oh, I Want You, She's So Heavy.
Yeah, I want you.
Such a
She's-
fat
yeah.
bass line. Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dear Prudence.
Yeah. I don't
Lucy
know.
in the Sky with Diamonds. Okay, hear me out on
yeah.
this one.
Dun, dun,
Go
dun,
back
dun,
and listen to that on
dun,
headphones
dun,
and tell me
dun.
if that song would make any fucking sense if the bass wasn't in that.
Mhm,
Like, I
mhm.
mean, it grounds the whole thing throughout through the intro. And, without it, it would just be a bunch of nonsense.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Thinking of the ones that my dad used to like playing was Ballad of John and Yoko, right?
Yep.
Dun,
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 dun. Classic,
dun,
classic.
dun,
But
yep.
you know what? Always made it sound good. To treat the classics with respect and confidence is a nice thing.
It's only John and
You don't
Paul on
know.
that song.
Oh yeah.
Ballad of John and Yoko. It's just Paul playing the bass and the drums,
Yeah.
I think, and then it's John playing the guitars and the piano.
Don't want to
Nice.
play drums, John.
Right.
Well, happy to see that he's still thriving and able to also just share his wide extensive catalog, just like all these other people we were just talking about. So that's really nice. And also continuing in the sharing of abundance of variety of things, perhaps not music, even though they are a musician, right? Is Kanye sharing
Yeah.
all this.
Someone who might think he's
is-
Paul McCartney.
Oversharing.
yeah, someone who has compared himself
Doesn't
to
think
such.
he is. He is Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at this point, I'd rather have him do that than doing what he's doing right now. And
Right.
it's, and yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like people are cracking jokes with it and stuff. But man, it really is a sad, tough thing to bear witness to. And
Well, yeah, we're
that-
witnessing the monetization of Schadenfreude is a phrase that I coined for it because it's just the taking of of pleasure in other people's misery,
yeah,
and
That's
it's
so true.
everywhere. And the other side of that, because we have talked about this before, mental health is not a joke,
Yeah.
and it is sad to see this kind of stuff happening in the spotlight. But I was thinking, I'm like, why is it that if I swear in an Instagram post, it gets taken down, but Kanye is like out there telling his followers, don't wink, wink, go after Skeet
Yeah.
Davidson. Like that doesn't seem like it should be acceptable.
yeah.
I think Pete Davidson said it best that having mental health issues is not an excuse to be an asshole.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why certain people get the different burdens or challenges that their life bears. We don't know a question,
You don't know.
age-old question, right? But what we do have a lot of control over is how we respond to those things, and yeah, sometimes it does require additional support, beyond our own, agency, right? But we are, that's one of the beauties of being a human for me is the self-agency as well, and trying to be like a MacGyver about it, right? How can I use with what's available to me to make it
I'm a Georgia.
Majorgia.
I'm a Georgie.
Majorgia, yeah, and I ain't there just yet, but that'll be the name for sure. That'll be the name, yeah. Have that be my my handyman biz, LLC.
Georgesons.
Yeah.
In the garage.
Yeah, but oh well. I mean, that's too bad. Poor Kanye. But yeah, I mean, I hope that he has this realization. I mean, before
Right.
it gets even worse, because it's already not looking
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm like having a pity party for him because it's not like he's doing himself any favors. And
yeah. No, he's not happy.
He is to if it is the case, then he needs to get on his meds and be because that's what his kids need a father. That's the
Mhm.
main
Right.
thing, and
big. Yeah.
this doesn't need to be just a gigantic advertisement for his next album.
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
On the two.
Yeah.
And that too.
Oh yeah. Well, and I guess while we're still on the heavy train, right? What's been happening with Logan Paul? suing who?
He sued. He's
Floyd?
trying to sue Floyd. Or
Yeah,
he's about
Floyd,
to. I
yeah.
don't know if it's like in the process of it.
Man.
But like, if like Floyd really hasn't paid him, that's like so ridiculous. That guy's so unbelievably godly rich.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what's it called? A drop in the bucket, right?
Yeah, for
What
him.
he's trying to hold off to.
But like, I've heard he's having money problems and shit.
so
it's like-
weird.
Damn.
Well, that
Any
would
idea
explain
what's
why he
what-
didn't pay him.
Yeah. But any idea what the
why he has
alleged
money
source, what the alleged sources of those issues?
probably mostly gambling.
Oh man, that's tough, man. I mean, talk about first world problems, but I mean, man, they are real problems. So at the end of the day, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Sometimes there.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, if based on sort of right, or like hardship is a spectrum, right? If you've only experienced a certain end of the spectrum, then going a little beyond that threshold, it feels like a huge
But
world.
like, if you're gambling that much, like you gotta have like some type of like addictive
oh yeah,
personality or something.
yeah. Well,
It's like when they say that I'm addicted to sex. I'm a sex addict. No, you just like sex. Like what is a sex addict? Like you're like, well, I like, come on.
yeah,
Give me a
yeah.
break.
I mean,
You don't have any control, no self-control. That's what you're saying. Like, give me a break.
No,
yeah. I mean,
some of
it,
the
it,
shit's
it,
too-
it could stem from
Some of
something.
it's too.
It could stem from something, more sort of overarching, but can also manifest itself in a specific outlet or realm of one's life too. I could
Right.
see that being a thing, and like addictive personalities, can have, maybe like a trigger, like for like
Right.
maybe Floyd, that's for him is like, I have a lot of money and wow, I could get even more by gambling, and-
Takes many forms.
yeah. Well, that's too bad. But anyways, shouldn't be impacting. I mean, you're a professional, and at the very least a human being of sorts. And I hope that that's something that he realizes, like, hey, I got to fix that. So we'll see. But moving on. What about the Angels? They've been. What's been happening with them? I actually forgot.
Sorry.
I'm forgetting everything today. It's all right though. But please, for me and our lovely guests out there.
Their pitcher Tyler Skaggs that passed away.
Passed away. Yeah.
It was just recently found out that the trainer provided the fentanyl-laced painkillers that he took.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. His name's Eric K.
It was the
and-
trainer?
Yeah.
I thought it was just someone who worked there. I mean, worked with the organization. Dang, that's crazy. Even worse.
That's tough.
'Cause
How,
Yeah,
Oh, wait, never mind. Go
I
ahead.
was
They're-
gonna ask how old is Skaggs?
27.
He
27.
was young, yeah. There were other
Oh, man,
players
that-
that came out and said things against them too, that they also got drugs from the same trainer.
Oh, wow. I was gonna say, man, that darn 27, taking another one. It's just
Yeah.
loss of any life, right? But there's that. There's a weird relationship with the early passing of people at 27. I'm sure. I'd wonder what like the stats would be like comparatively. People dying at 27.
It's probably not that different.
Yeah,
just
it's just
people talk about it, so-
yeah. But why did that become a thing? I guess there was enough people within a certain realm of popular culture within a
It's
certain
around that
time
age
frame.
too, because I mean, there's a lot of people too. It's just like a late 20s, early 30s thing, especially people in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
That have a lot of musicians that died around that age, and
Jimi
it
Hendrix.
comes back to it's not anything mystical. It's the fucking drug use. What happened to just rolling a J? Why do we got to shoot up and shit? Take it sucks.
Yeah,
And-
and just the way you worded it was so matter of fact that it was like it was. What is not
Shocking.
I can
Yeah.
I can go grab some pearls if you want to clutch them.
Yeah, it's some discernible. It's related to some discernible action that we have control and agency over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate,
yeah,
and that's the other
Hard
issue.
pill to
is
swallow
that
sometimes, though.
it should be easier for the players who are oftentimes in a lot of pain and oftentimes under a lot of stress. To,
Oh, can they still not
Get
smoke
help.
weed in baseball?
right, and what the fuck is the deal with that?
So weird.
In all of these sports,
Lack
In
of-
basketball, you
The
can't.
lack of safe access is really costing us and a lot of different people.
yeah, it's unfortunate,
Well, may Sir Skaggs rest in power and paradise and peace and all that. And but yeah, hopefully those that were involved, this trainer gets that the consequences of his actions are just, right.
Yeah.
And ideally swift, because I don't know. I think that there's a timeliness that supports whether something is done justly or not.
Right. Well, so he's he was found guilty, so now he'll go to sentencing, and we'll see where it
Yeah.
goes from there.
Yeah, well, it's too bad, but that's how this life is sometimes, and sometimes, right? It's like solid, and then it gets hard for whatever, or it's nice and sunny, and it turns into hail. You know, all within a span of 7 days.
What the hell are you talking about?
The hails. The thing I'm talking about was that recently, I know like Pasadena and Eagle Rock experienced some pretty interesting hail storm activity, right?
Yeah.
It's just the span in like a later afternoon or evening, right? Kind of thing. Yeah.
Later afternoon.
Just
Yeah.
a couple of days after a heat wave too.
After a nice heat wave.
Yeah, right after we were getting 80, almost 90-degree temperatures, we got a hailstorm that rolled through that literally like blanketed all of Pasadena with, it looked like snow. I mean, I was on the freeway coming back and it was dead stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
what the hell? I feel like I'm driving through, Northern California or something. It was a trip.
Well, I didn't pay attention in middle or high school science, but man, those natural Earth climate cycles are really something, aren't they?
Right. Well, yeah, they called
sunspot
it
activity. Actually, you gotta know the conspiracy, man.
Yeah,
they called it a thunder snow.
a thunder snow. Sounds like like a type of beer, like a weed strain or something.
Sounds like
You don't know
That's
about
not-
strains.
not a
I
beer.
don't.
sounds like a
It sounds
Pokemon
something
attack.
Yeah, Pokemon attack. Yeah. That's more truthful. Yeah.
Articuno, use
Thunder snow or what?
Shut up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty dope.
What are you, a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, Paul?
No.
You more a Yu-Gi-Oh guy instead
I
of
don't like
Pokemon?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, I did like Yu-Gi-Oh,
it's
but-
wild
Yu-Gi-Oh, gotta
seeing how
catch
all
'em all.
those trading card games are like still alive and well.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh and all its different forms, even the video games and stuff. But Pokemon with all the video game stuff. But actually, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game out there right now that's also pretty.
You gotta trust in
pretty
the heart
lively.
of the cards,
Yeah,
dude.
it's pretty. It's like
Yu-Gi, no
Master
fucking
Duel or
way.
something like that. Is the Yu-Gi-Oh one? But anyways, yeah, they're thriving in a lot of different outlets.
Also, the movie Detective Pikachu 2 is coming out.
Oh, the next one.
Yeah.
Nice, because there was one already, right? The first one, right?
The one that
and I
you didn't
enjoyed.
see.
Yeah, that's why that's why they're calling it Detective Pikachu 2.
Oh, I didn't hear the two. See, I'm. It's okay. It's okay.
Pay attention.
That's all right. More content. More content for the good people. Content.
Content.
Creation.
Yeah. And then but on some more serious stuff, what's I'm looking at this next thing and like, is it what I'm thinking of, the formula stuff,
What formula?
the SF recall?
No.
No, I don't know.
Formula.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
It's-
Well, then why are you bringing it up?
Well, because I wanted to ask about it.
The
I'd like to know.
San Francisco recall election.
No,
Oh, okay.
about
So look,
the-
I'll tell you what I was thinking about, but it's funny that it totally is like, okay, just so San Francisco, what's getting recalled in San Fran?
This is about
Or SF,
the school board, right?
Yeah, so
school board recall.
3 members of the school board up in San Francisco got recalled, and it's the first recall attempt up there since 1983. I think they tried to recall Feinstein when she was mayor up there, unsuccessfully, of course. But yeah, there was a backlash because I guess a lot of the citizens in the area got the impression that the school board was too worried about renaming schools and
Right.
not
Yeah.
getting kids into classrooms and running it efficiently post-pandemic.
I agree with some I see like what like each side is saying, but I don't know. I don't know all the details. I read it, but it's like why do they even care about renaming schools like unless it's like something really offensive, like, and why would a school ever be named that in the first place?
Right. Well, I mean, we're talking about schools named after
Lincoln and Washington.
Washington,
That's what
which-
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's comparable to a statue of Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
I think some people do draw that comparison.
I think they're wrong.
I
It
think
just lacks
there's got to be a little
nuance.
bit more nuance.
Yeah, a little bit more, and yeah, because those people were definitely not like upright moral citizens in all regards, because they were also products of their time. Not to
Right.
excuse it, but to just explain that that's where that comes from. And
Right.
yeah, it's pretty much an inescapable part of our nation's history, right? Pretty much.
Right.
But
And then there was
yeah.
in this particular scenario, there was a confluence of like one of the commissioner's tweets from like 2016 came out, and it was like they were talking about the prevalence of anti-blackness in the Chinese community, and it was at a time when I think it was a 547% increase in Asian hate crimes, and it was just like
Damn.
kind of just not the right tone to be striking, and
Mhm.
that was one of the people who got recalled.
Yeah.
Allison Collins, I think, was her name or something like that.
Let's see why.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely important to have a little bit more nuance with this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's interesting. Also, they were noting that the majority of the
You guys
the
don't have
voters who turned
nuance.
out were were
Dang.
Chinese Americans, and a lot of them are registered independents. And though they caucus with Democrats, they're kind of, conservative as well.
Yeah, or at least
And-
moderate.
Yeah, and so it's worthy to note that the political spectrum in the Democratic Party is a little bit more diverse than the Republican Party, and
I
that
can
lends itself to good things. Sometimes you win a lot, you win an election, but on the other hand, it's harder to get things done.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see why parents are pissed that schools haven't opened in San Francisco when they've opened so many places and so many venues and events have opened. Like the Super Bowl is packed and
Right,
not a lot of
yeah.
people with masks, but we're kind of putting that burden on our
He was
kids.
holding his breath though.
Yeah. So what I thought SF recall was referred to was the recall of a lot of different powdered formulas for infants, Similac being one of them. So when I saw that,
Similac formula.
Similac
recall.
formula, I was like, oh, is that
Wow.
what we're talking about? And
SF,
wild, right?
Well,
Yeah, right. It's funny how that kind of happened, but which is to me, it's shocking, but also something that I learned, as a new parent is that that the regulation of formula is not really a thing. It's like a type of
like
Of
a
a-
protein powder, kind of.
I mean, I
Is
guess.
it? That's not really well
not
regulated.
It's
FDA
just it's not well regulated. That's what it is. I mean, so what you have accessible on the shelves and stuff, it's just
Varies,
there's just
right?
yeah, it
I mean,
varies.
use, like words like proprietary and stuff like that.
Yes, and if you do want to opt for things that are more organic or like containing fewer ingredients that you can't pronounce, it does cost more, and but also there's just not a lot of. I mean, you really have to be doing a lot of your own investigative work to understand like the value of what's in a formula versus others, right? And so
Sure.
I
It's
know-
considered like a food and doesn't have to be FDA approved.
Yep. And so it's just I guess to me it's like wow, I guess it reflects that reality. And we're very lucky. I'm very lucky, and my daughter's very lucky that her mama, my wife, is been able to go through
Why? Because if it was you, you would
natural-
just be like,
natural breastfeeding and whatnot, and that is ultimately you can't replicate it.
Yeah.
I mean the body adapts to and provides nutrients based on what the baby needs, and so man, it's a very just one of the very powerful, beautiful things that the female body is capable of, right? And so it's wild, but yeah, so that's too bad too. I mean, especially with something regarding babies. Think of
So
the
on
children. Think of the children.
Today's National Geographic anatomy lesson. Thank you, George.
dun, 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 dun.
We got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but you can't teach that kind of stuff in schools,
Yeah.
and you can't teach anything about gayness either.
Or say anything about it. It's a little strange. And which is what they're trying to do in Florida, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Not just Florida. 14 other bills have cropped up.
Oh, my
Tennessee,
God.
Kentucky, Indiana, Oklahoma. There's a lot of
The
states.
South.
Yeah, that are trying to pass these "Don't Say Gay" bills, which
Yeah.
try to regulate what K through 12 schools can do. I mean, I think the House bill in Tennessee, I wrote the quote. It was would ban textbook and instructional materials that quote promote, normalize, support, or address lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender lifestyles in K through 12 schools.
Yeah.
Like it,
Just address it, like just acknowledging it.
Yeah.
it's
That's
amazing.
It's wild.
I mean, and these guys are the ones that are like talking about. I mean, they're approaching this realm on both ends. They're trying to burn books. They're trying to ban,
Right.
just
like this-
discussion. Even
Yeah.
it's
It's
like-
literally like a form of wokeness for the right.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's weird, but it's like wokeness by closing your eyes and covering your ears.
Right. Sleepness.
Yeah. They sleep. That's
in the
really
sand.
unfortunate. I mean,
I
it's,
stay asleep.
it's funny, like, oh, finally they have some investment in the education system, but I mean, they're barking up the wrong branch within this. What I'd hoped that they would sort of try to approach and address. That's
So,
really
in Florida,
it's
it
horrible.
passed the House Judiciary, so they're pretty close to actually passing it. And
Dear Lord.
Ron DeSantis is all in on this shit. I think that fucker's going to run in 2024
God,
if Trump doesn't
what
beat him
a
with a stick.
loser, man!
I
Guys are
can
just
see that.
such fat losers, man. I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate him.
Speaking of fat losers, Kim Potter.
Kim Potter. Ah.
Don't say fatty.
Yeah. I learned my lesson, remember? Yeah,
Right.
but a big time loser. There we go.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, even with that being said, what, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years in prison for shooting someone?
for accidentally.
Mistaking, the gun for their taser.
Yep, murdering Dante Wright.
Yeah, I
Murdering
mean,
Dante
what
Wright, man.
is it really that different? Like, I mean, I've held a taser and a gun before. They're pretty damn different, and
Yeah.
it's the policy for them to wear it on the the one side and the other. And I'm not gonna like recapitulate any of that shit because the jury already did this. So it's ridiculous that she only got 2 years.
You know what?
Someone died.
What was interesting? I was reading on Twitter that because I guess that the judge was a female judge of like I mean it doesn't matter, but they're being brought up because they had a response where they were talking about, oh, this is like a mistake pretty much on Kim Potter's end,
Mm-hmm.
but that pretty much on Twitter it was someone who I guess is a lawyer of sorts, and they said, well, you had a much different response to my client, which was a POC of sorts, and like a black woman, and that they were involved in like an altercation on the bus, and pretty much trying to break up a fight that was instigated by like a white male, according to this tweet, and that she was very harsh pretty much, and like sentenced 5 years, and like and she was, I think, deported or something. I don't
Wow.
remember.
Yeah.
It was something.
So the question
unfortunately, I'm
was
butchering it, but it just seemed like
why
there was
the
an inequitable,
leniency here?
inequitable
Yeah.
use of
Very inconsistent.
of the sentencing. Yeah. So yeah, really interesting. So I forget what the judge. It was like a last name Chu or something, some sort of like Asian like sort of background to the last name. I remember. But anyway, that's that's too bad.
Yeah, the judge even acknowledged that the sentence should be more, and she really did show a lot of leniency to Kim Potter.
Yeah, Dan. Even
Not what we need right now.
even self-awareness, having some self-awareness. That's weird. So it's like, why did you do it?
Right.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, I guess it's tough out there for these peeps, I guess. Also tough for AOC. I know she's dealing with a lot of hardship with Tuckerson, right? Or
Yeah, Carl Tuckerson.
yeah, Cucker Tuckerson.
Tucker?
At Cook.
Yeah, calling her an
Yeah.
entitled white lady, pretty much, right?
Yeah, and also I think one of his comments was that there was no place on earth that she'd be recognized as a POC.
Yeah.
Something that he actually let fly out of his mouth on national television. I mean,
It's so wild. I mean, what's
Holy
even the
shit.
point of that?
I'm personally not the biggest fan of AOC. I'm not really. I mean, I like her attitude sometimes, but I don't really see much action and by way
Mhm.
that gets behind that. So I'm not going to defend this though. That's pathetic.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I remember reading about that within her district that AOC is very popular, and that's been a source of her like continued reelection. So, I do believe that she has done, things, but I'm not aware of them. But I mean, yeah, I do need to become more knowledgeable. But regardless, right? I mean, regardless of where you stand, even if
Well,
it's someone
you
on
have
the-
to do something to get reelected.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But
I don't know.
regardless, right or left, right? I mean,
explain Mitch McConnell.
He does things,
Oh yeah,
evil things.
yeah,
True.
yeah. Evil
Darth Sidious.
Darth Sidious, yeah, I know. I love. Well, I hate that I have to use it from, but it's very fitting. But yeah, man, just Tucker Carlson, man, that guy's just a weirdo, and
yeah, he's an epic prick.
he's always trying to like up his game in like the worst ways, and I guess that's why he's on there. So,
Yeah.
man, but I just wonder what gave him that idea. I mean, I guess you must be losing if that's what you have to resort to like sort of like talk your shit,
Right. And there was a couple of things like, the right, they always do this thing where they go after, and in certain circumstances, it is a narrative that does kind of line up with the reality because you talk about like, AOC wearing the expensive dress to the gala or whatever, the Met Gala, and it's like, oh, well, she was sending a message. It's like, no, but come on,
Yeah, come on.
I get you got to play the game, but, you got to have something to show for it. And you can't just be tweeting and not doing anything because that's what Trump did. And, you got to call that shit out no matter if it's right or left or what, I'd like to see some action.
Yeah.
Yeah. That goes for everyone, right? I mean, because even when Pelosi and Schiff, no, not Schiff. One of the other, the big Democratic people, right? When they were like kneeling and stuff, right? And people were like, "Oh, performative," right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And being critical of that, and yeah, I mean, I appreciate the gesture, but yeah, I'd like to see it backed up by actionable, activity. I guess I don't know, actionable actions. So
To coin a phrase.
Yeah.
to coin a phrase, hey, well, you know what? Words are important, but so are actions. But it's and it's tough when the words impact, tangible, I don't know, activities or processes, as we saw and we learned about with a couple baptisms getting nulled, right?
Couple,
right?
A couple,
Just a couple,
yeah.
just about a ones or twos or threes or fours or five.
Yeah, like thousands.
Thousands, yeah. Was just from one priest or?
One priest in Phoenix, Arizona, where they really need priests, man.
Yeah.
They really need Jesus down there. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, instead of finalizing the baptism with the phrase "I baptize you," he said, "We baptize you," and
That nullifies it.
They're like, who's we?
they put right, and it sounds like it would make more sense, like we, like me, and I mean, it's like
God
you got the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, you got fucking Mary and everybody else. Like it may as well be we.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
like why not?
Yeah,
And the congregation.
and yeah, exactly. I think it feels like an inclusive communal thing. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it would make more sense.
yeah. But oh well. I mean, that
and
sucks.
It's weird because it's like that's semantical, but you think like, oh, everything is so symbolic, and you go, okay, well, does God not give a shit that you're using, Welch's grape juice instead of actual wine for communion, or like
Yeah.
the cracker's not the same, so like what you haven't actually taken communion because it's actually juicy juice
Yeah.
and not the good stuff. You're like,
I mean,
why would God care? Why would Jesus care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get there's an intention, but what I'd say is that getting so caught up in the
Traditions.
in the discernment, right, is and the dogmas that it creates. I feel like it takes away from the spirit sometimes.
Yeah.
It can very easily, and in this case, I think it is.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean the family still made the investment and the commitment to do that, so that's too bad. So is there a course for, I don't know, repercussion or like to help a man make amends?
Yeah, they got to get rebaptized.
They got to do all the work
That's
themselves.
literally the statement they put out. If you were baptized and
By this
these words
dude.
were uttered,
Yeah.
you need to get rebaptized.
yeah, I'm
'Cause it
sure the
don't
babies
count.
remember.
Yeah.
You get up to the pearly gates, Jesus is gonna go, think again.
Yeah. They do the trap door on the floor, right? Ah! Dang,
Shit.
that's tough, man. Well, what else is tough? Well, very very recent, right? Some new developments even today, leading up to us meeting here with Russia and Ukraine, right? Some real heavy repercussions
We're on the
or
brink.
implications. Yeah.
Yeah, France and Germany are now urging their citizens to leave. Like, if
Why
you're
do
still
you need
there,
to
why
be-
are you there?
Yeah, why do you need to be
Get
told?
out.
Yeah.
Seriously. Russia is holding nuclear drills.
Yeah.
Officially, the Kremlin has put out these statements. Yeah, that's not good.
Man, that's crazy. That's spooky. Yeah, I mean, boy, it would be a first to see. I mean, because there is a difference between atomic, right, and like nuclear. Let's say, warfare. No, it's all the same. Okay, well,
No.
okay then.
I
I
think they're the
thought
same
there was a
thing.
discernible difference. I'm sorry, I apologize. But
You're
okay,
thinking hydrogen bomb versus.
Yeah,
Okay,
hydrogen
okay.
versus
Yeah.
like
It's
all
yeah,
nuclear powered.
so I was, definitely, yeah. Well, good. Thanks for the clarification. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's been so long since that's been a reality of any nations or group of people, or of any living
Like, what
being.
does he want?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I
He's
think it just,
flailing. He's there. He's trying to
Yeah.
keep Russia as this thing. And he wants to be buddy with China because that's kind of our real opponent in terms of the way the world is looking with the global economy.
China's a lot stronger than Russia.
Yeah. Russia is just doing this 2-bit crap, and it's all chest beating. But he's got to do that, and then Saudi Arabia is backing him up.
Mhm.
With the whole OPEC alliance, they're not releasing any more oil because that's screwing us at the pump, and it'll alleviate any sanctions that we place on Russia. They'll be able to kind of help them out. Russia, I
Yeah.
think, is the second largest oil exporter in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, the Saudi Arabians are up to no good.
Yeah, I don't appreciate any of it, but yeah, it's absurd. And then you think about how much of a waste it was for us to all come together and go into Afghanistan and Iraq, because all of the political capital and all the money and all the resources that we spent there could have gone to helping an actual ally that's in a real crisis right now. And there's no will to do anything. I mean, everybody's like, what are we going to do? Send troops there? Fuck that, you know? And I agree with that. You know, it sucks, but
Yeah.
what are we going to do? Let Russia walk all over, you know, Eastern Europe? And
And it's interesting because something that I kind of brought up an episode or two ago, that kind of reading upon some of the perspectives that are like, yeah, this is all like a U.S. propaganda sort of narrative, and there's actually nothing going on. And
you ever notice that narrative? Like
and the Russians are doing great, and
on
their
social
friends.
media, it's like the U.S. is the only country that's ever been imperialist or colonized or like done anything bad, and it's always that. It's like, I wonder where that narrative is coming from, or what's feeding into that narrative.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a bit of a rhetorical
It's
question.
our far-reaching military, I think, that feeds that.
kind of
Well,
just
no,
a
I mean,
reflection.
I think it's propaganda coming from other countries that's trying to make America look worse than it really is, and people here buy it on the right and the left, and it's unfortunate, and that's
and
fueling a lot of this dialogue here.
You know, and it's, for me, it's sort of kind of like the dialogue that's around like critical race theory, that like,
Right.
oh, you can't talk about it, but then, oh, you should talk about it, and everything leads back to some of these like they become very over encompassing sort of like tenets, of whatever, geopolitical or like socioeconomic or like racial, ethnic, whatever, like kind of like a
Paradigm.
paradigms, right, and it's easy to just to create other out of people that are not like us, like that, and when you ding people within a single narrative, that's when it's easy to sort of dehumanize the other, and so that's just really too bad, and yeah, at the end of the day, the ideas of imperialism and whatnot, they are unfortunately, reoccurring tenets of human existence and human history.
Yeah.
And all peoples throughout the world are guilty of it, but so being aware of it, talking about it, and try to do better is important. But yeah, right. I mean, it's not just one people, pretty much, right?
Right.
And some more than others, sure, but I mean that's nuance that I think lacks in when you see people talking about it on social media.
Well, yeah, and it just reiterates the importance that people got to come together and stop doing this shit. What's going on here, man?
That's scary. Just talking about it, and I was like, oh man, that's spooky. Like, anyway, yeah, spooky. Just thinking about what it could become, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to do like drills again, right? Like that was a thing in like the 60s and 70s. Was it still or what?
Probably like early 70s, but yeah, mostly I would say 50s and 60s.
50s and 60s, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, trying to talk about it and creating an increased awareness and nuanced conversation is always, I think, a very important thing for us to do. One of the only things we can do, unless we try to pick up lines of work that get us in, the public sector and military, right? This and that. But so while we're not doing that, we can do this. So, and we do appreciate that all of you are joining us here, covering all the highs and lows that the week brings us. Maybe that's where the sort of the sense of like long time passing between episode 13 and 14 came from. But alas, we will keep at it. It is our duty to keep you updated week by week. And so until then, friends, be safe. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for number 15. And as always, any way you can join us in conversation, we love. And see you later. Bye-bye.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Ooh, cheese bag.